Hello everyone, this is Easy from msnumiblog.com, and this is a comparison video between At&t's Lumia 640XL and the Lumia 830. So I was asked the other day about the differences, why there's a huge price disparity between the newly announced 640XL, which is a phablet, and the last year's model, the Lumia 830, both from AT&T. The Lumia 830 cost around $400 off contract, and the huge 640XL, which has basically the same specifications, tech specs with the 830, cost $200 less. $150 less at $249 off contract. So I'm just going to do a quick comparison just so you can have an understanding of why there might be a reason why these two phones are not priced the same, even though they have the same specs. And we'll take a look right now. So first, you can see this is the phablet. It's not huge compared to, say, other phablets. Probably the 1520. It's a lot smaller. It is a 5.7-inch screen. The 830 has a 5-inch screen. So you're wondering, okay, this should be more expensive, but it's not. They both run the same technology, IPS LCD on both screens, but the 830, due to a small screen, has a deeper, more rich pixel density at 294 pixels per inch, and on the phablet we have 259. Not a lot of difference there, but yeah, little stuff like this does count. They both have clear black display, are protected by Gorilla Glass 3, HD displays at 720 by 1280 resolution. So in terms of screen, they're almost identical. There's not a lot of difference to differentiate these two devices. The 830 does have a nano SIM, while the 640 uses the micro SIM, a slightly bigger micro SIM. Obviously, the 640 weighs more because of its larger frame. It weighs about 170 grams, while the 830 weighs 150. In powerhouse, they both run Snapdragon 400. The identical graphics also at Adreno 305. Both have SD cards. Can take up to 128 gig of micro SD cards. Internally though, the 830 has 16 gig of internal storage, while the 640 has just 8. And when I say 8, it means you're left with, when you turn it on the first time, you probably have about 6 gig of free space in it. Both have 1 gig RAM. Then here's the curious part. The 640, I think what it has going for it is the camera, because it has a 13 megapixel camera here, Carl optics, autofocus with LED flash, while the 830 here has a 10 megapixel Carl optics, but it does have optical image stabilization, and in addition to the autofocus and the LED flash. So that's probably the trade-off between these two devices. While you have a 13 megapixel here without OIS, you have a 10 megapixel, same Carl Zeiss technology, but the 830 has optical image stabilization. What that does is, when you take pictures and you drank a lot of coffee and your hands shaky, the optical image stabilization stabilizes your picture, video, to make it look more more better. You can take more shots. So that's a huge plus in the imaging side of the 830, and probably why the pricing might be a little bit different. Also, actually, the 830 comes with pure view technology. We first saw that with the 41 megapixel Nokia 808. That technology is inside this 10 megapixel Carl Zeiss. So image wise, while the 640 has a larger sensor with a 13 megapixel, the 10 megapixel on the 830 with pure view technology and optical image stabilization makes this more superior when it comes to imaging. Both record 1080p at 30 frames per second. The 640 has a 5 megapixel front-facing camera that can also record 1080p, while the 830 has a front-facing camera at 0.9 megapixel, just say 1 megapixel front-facing camera, which records 720p. So you can see how there's a lot of stuff you really want to look at when you decide to get either one of these devices. If you're a huge selfie person, you can go with the 640, I guess, or if you're really into video calling, but I don't think there's a lot of difference you would get between these cameras. At the end of the day, megapixels is what is, just megapixels. But apart from that, then the 830 has superior Wi-Fi in it. It has dual band um, Wi-Fi 802.11, ABG, and N. And while the 640 just has BG and N 802.11. Both phones have Bluetooth version LE. The LE version is on the 830, more advanced LE, but the 640 has Bluetooth version 4. Both phones have GLONASS, so offline mapping is possible. Micro USB ports. In terms of thickness, you can see thickness and size. The 640 obviously is a lot bigger, but in thickness they're almost the same. Really thin, almost the same. A trade-off for me is I have no idea why the micro USB port is at the top of the 830. Traditionally should be at the bottom, but for whatever reason it's at the top right there. The 830 has wireless charging. The 640 does not. The 640XL does not have wireless charging. The 830 has NFC. The 640 does not have NFC. Then when you look at overall build quality, the 830 is more superior. You can see it has this, the whole frame is all metal, while the 640 has this really cheap plasticky feel to it. So it's all coming together when you look at the specs of these two devices. You can see where one trades off, the other really takes off on. So at the end of the day, you can kind of put together, calculate, see why this 830 is more expensive. So it's really left to you. If your deal breaker is screen size, you can always go with the 640. Eventually they both run the same engine. It's just a different, this is a sports car, this is a truck. So I'm not really going to go into software comparison, because right now I am running a beta Windows 10 mobile on my 830, while this on the 640 runs the official Windows Phone 8.1 Lumia Denim on it. So the Windows 10 is a little buggy, so there's really no comparison I can do software wise. But looking at both devices, I would say the 830 is more aesthetically pleasing. I am not a fan of phablet phones, so my views might be biased, and I do prefer the 830 with its 5-inch HD screen. Not a fan of really huge phones, but if you are, you love the specs or you love the engines running on the 830, but you want a bigger screen, you can go for the 640, or you can wait a few months and Microsoft's going to come out with our flagship phones, which obviously will cost way more than 400 for the 830. So that is a quick look at the At&t's two mid-range Lumia devices, the Lumia 640XL and the Lumia 830. Thanks for watching. Oh, one last thing, don't hang up yet. The battery on this is a 2200 milliamp on the Lumia 830, while there's a 3000 milliamp battery. Obviously, it needs something bigger with a big screen like this on the 640XL. So, there again is another nice view to it. The 830 comes with two back covers. This is actually removable. Both phones have removable back covers, and you actually get a green and a black from At&t on this. So while the 640 just comes in this cheap plastic cover here. So Once you hold these two devices, once I grip this, I can already tell this has much better quality than this plasticky feel, and obviously you know why. Even the smaller version of the 640XL uh, also has the same build to it. It's just smaller. It has the same plasticky matte finish on it too. So while the 830 has a really nice premium feel. It is plastic, the back cover, but has a really nice feel to it. So yeah, those are the two devices you can get right now. I would recommend if you're tired of your 920, or I mean, none of these would replace your 1020. Obviously, you probably have to wait a few more months before the end of the year. But if you had an 820 or 920, depending on what your preferences are, you can decide to choose either between these two. If you're from a different network, T-Mobile or Verizon coming in, you have these choices to pick from. So yeah, that is a quick look at the comparison for AT&T's 640XL and the 830. Thanks for watching. This is easy.